I don't really look at science fiction to get inspiration. And I also believe that our designs are really not science fiction. They are science fact. Because what we really do is look at existing technology that is already out there, and we just extrapolate that and kind of look at it, what it could be in maybe 10, 15, 20 years. For me, space architecture is just architecture, but it's not on Earth. It's architecture that is either on the moon, on Mars, or even in orbit around the Earth. Designing for space gives a lot of challenges. It sounds really like a field not for architects, but for literally rocket scientists or rocket engineers. But I really believe that designing for space is quite similar to designing for Earth. The difference is that environmental factors are just way more extreme. On Earth, we'll design buildings that need to protect us from the sun, right? They might heat up too much. On the moon or Mars, we need to do the same thing, but in space, those environments are way harsher. A few years ago, we designed a Mars habitat that was part of a competition for NASA, one of their centennial challenges. And what we did for that, we designed the habitat in kind of two parts. The internal part is an inflatable, an unfolding inflatable that would be manufactured on Earth and brought to Mars and placed underneath a big shell structure, a 3D printed shell structure. We need that. Why? Well, there's lots of radiation on Mars and we need to protect our astronauts from that radiation. And we do that by 3D printing. We're not going to bring a massive 3D printer to Mars. No, we're having a swarm of small robotic printers and they work together, and over years, because it will take a long time, they 3D print layer by layer this shell structure underneath our astronauts can live. Space architecture and space habitats have seen astronauts just as a way to survive them, but not really for them to enjoy being for a long time in space. We get the first generation of space tourists now. They are going to want to have different types of spaces. So for us, it's about thriving in space, not just surviving. So at the moment, we're working on a moon base for the European Space Agency. But at the same time, we are working on a music center in northern Uganda that is in a place called Bidi, the world's second largest refugee settlement. Now for me, design in both places is important, but in the end of the day, there's one driver, and it is more sustainable architecture. Running buildings accounts for 38% of carbon emissions in the world. So as architects, my generation of architects, we have a huge responsibility. We really need to make sure that architecture of the future is way more sustainable than we're doing now. And it doesn't matter where.